Welcome to the show. I'm Jessica Shaw.
I'm Touré.
And this is BingeWorthy.
We tell you what to binge,
what to delete.
Today we'll discuss season 2 of Search Party,
Marvel's Runaways,
and the mini-series Godless.
Cheers to shows that make us want to give thanks.
Speaking of which, thanks to our host Vinyl in New York City. All right, Jess, let's talk TV.
The acclaimed comedy mystery show Search Party is back for a second season on TBS. The search ended in season 1, and season 2 is more of a how do we get away with smashing Ron Livingston over the head with a blunt object kind of season. The series airs 2 new episodes every Sunday at 10 p.m.
What happened here was a terrible accident, and I don't think we should let it ruin the rest of our lives.
How can this pile be so big and this hole can be so small?
Let it out.
Let's go.
Season 1 of Search Party was one of my favorite seasons of television. I loved it. I loved how they let you binge the entire show, which was a really fun way to release a show. And I love season 2. It is dark. They killed someone. I mean, spoiler alert, if you didn't watch the end of season 1, they murdered someone. And now it's just about coming to terms with that, getting away with it, ignoring it, repressing it.
It feels
hilarious.
Wrong to say, but it's so much fun watching them try to bury a body, and they don't quite know what to do, and how do you make this hole deeper?
Yes.
And how do I
They're
get this body
there's so much
in there?
earth. Why isn't the hole getting deeper?
It's smart, it's fun, and they put them in this amazing predicament that is funny and weird and creepy, and I want to follow them and see where this goes and how they deal with this, and I just love this show. It's just the right amount of quirky.
Yeah, and it is, it definitely I feel like we have spoken about different shows, dark comedies.
Yes.
And it's it's really dark, but it's just not that funny. This show manages to be so funny. The characters of Elliot and Portia in particular, they kill me. Every single line that comes out of their mouth, I'm just obsessed with them.
I do love these characters, these people. They are cool and relatable, and they're not like caricatures. And some of the other shows we'll talk about today, the people are like caricatures. We need a gay character, he's gonna be like this. Here, the gay characters, the straight characters are not like, typical in a way that I'm like, roll my eyes, boring. They're interesting, complex people, even as they're just doing the things that we would expect them to do. But this is a fun
I mean, so much brunch.
show.
So much brunch.
Yes.
There's just so much brunch.
Yes.
And I love every second of it.
Yes.
It's just, I binged this season too, because I couldn't get enough of it. And you want to see them kind of pay for what's going on, and they do.
No, I want to see them get away. Don't ruin it. I want to see them get away, because they're so fun.
Or totally get away with everything. and just shout out to Alia Shawkat, who is so great as Dory. And she's the one, back in season 1 that really instigated this move of searching for this college friend who you're not really in touch with anymore, but she kind of went missing, and because of social media, you're sort of up on her life, maybe. And she's so good this season. She's the most tortured of all of them.
I mean, if you loved season 1, you're gonna love this, but it's a different journey, right? Because the first one they were looking, and it was a certain kind of show. Now there's somebody dead, and they're trying to figure out what to do with the body, and so it's like an entirely.
Are you saying the search is over?
Yes.
Like the Journey song?
Yes, but it's different. It's a different part of this journey that they're on. So so the sort of locus of the show has totally changed, but it's still interesting and vibrant.
I love it. I love this show. I hope they make it for a long time. The whole cast is amazing.
Yeah, it's just a really sweet, again, quirky, but amazing little journey that they've sent them on, and I love this. I would totally binge this. You already did binge this.
I did binge it, and I love it. It is, dark comedy is a hard needle to thread. It really is, because it's either.
But when you nail it.
But when you nail it, it is so good.
Yeah, no, they're crushing it. Coming up next, we'll talk about Marvel's Runaways.
And the grim Western Godless.
Welcome back, I'm Touré.
I'm Jessica Shaw.
And this is still binge-worthy.
We tell you what to binge.
And what to delete. Marvel's Runaways is yet another comic book story for you. This time there's high school kids with superpowers and sketchy, powerful adults with special robes and weird rituals that recall Eyes Wide Shut without the sex. This is all going down on Hulu.
The last thing they're interested in is what their parents are doing.
You gonna let us in?
Who are they? Why is my mom's purse here?
What kind of charity meeting is this?
None of our parents are who we thought.
And it's a weird little universe that we have here. The adults are doing some weird Illuminati stuff, and the kids are suddenly figuring out the adults are doing something that's weird, and let's take a picture. So then they see them taking the picture, now the adults are onto them, and I don't know. This is weird.
I love this
You
show.
do?
I had so much fun watching this show. First of all, I love creepy parents. And they're
Okay.
just like in their robes, like kind of doing a human sacrifice.
Yeah.
Which is super dark. And their kids sneak into, first of all, I also love magic portals. And they sneak into like in the living room where all of a sudden a piece of furniture moves and you go down into some dungeon where they do human sacrifices.
But when they're doing the human sacrifice, when we see it the first time, it seems very vanilla because it's far away from the kid's point of view.
Right.
Then they show it again
From another
from the
vantage point,
adult's
right.
point of view, and the person who is being sacrificed, as you would expect, is like, no, I don't want this, I'm afraid, oh my God.
Right.
And they're like lying to her, like, it's gonna be fine. And then they do whatever they do.
Yeah, because they're
And
evil.
I know, but like that took me out of it. I was like, this is really weird, and I feel like I've watched some snuff film, and like, it's not fun.
Oh my God.
When the sacrifice is like, no, not me.
Oh, it's like I felt like I was like
And they
feeling some like
drug-
Rosemary's
and they
Baby vibes
drugged
going on.
her
Yeah,
and,
they're like,
like,
drink this,
And
you'll
they
be fine.
force it down. I mean, I was definitely like, well, so we're forcing liquid into a girl to inebriate her and make her unable to do anything. And then, I mean, I'm like, this is too many echoes of what's going on right now. I was creeped out by that detail.
Oh,
And
yeah.
there was too little, from what I saw, where's the superpowers? Like you see, like
Right.
they have something, like they get really mad and like the eyes flare and the background goes. So okay, she has a superpower, but what is it? When do we get to see her flex it and use it? And like, not this episode. I'm like, oh come on, you guys.
I will say I do agree with that. They're definitely, I mean, rolling out those superpowers very slowly.
Very slowly.
It's almost like it is a Marvel show, but it's from Josh Schwartz and Stephanie Savage, who did, you know, the OC, and they did Gossip Girl. So it does feel like a teenage angst show in addition to being a Marvel show. But they're like, you know, that Marvel stuff, those superpower stuff, let's just wait on that and let's play up the angst.
I can feel some of the Gossip Girl stuff, like when you're dealing with like the high school sort of bitchiness back and forth, but some of it was a bit much. And some of the there's a lot of rudeness in this world. And in Gossip Girl, they used it in a very comic and arch way.
Right.
In this one, there's multiple characters who are just super rude to other people. At one point, somebody says to a woman, can you help me with my phone? And she's like, that's beneath my pay grade. I'm a CEO, not an IT. And I'm like, why is it? And then
But she's a villain.
I
That's
know,
why.
but then her
She's like,
husband is like, oh, it's fine, I'll just do it. I'm like, why is she, like, if you're a villain, you don't have to be rude to people. You're trying to get
you
what
like
you want. You don't have to be
polite villains.
Well, I mean, like, what is the point of just being rude to it just struck me as like, there's a lot of meanness in this world. I'm just, why are we all being mean? I mean, like,
they're sacrificing people, and you're like,
Well,
you didn't want to fix my phone? Human sacrifice.
human sacrifice is bad, but that I can flow with.
But
you
I'm not
can't.
going to help you with your phone.
Well,
That's
I mean,
real
this
bad.
would be I mean, when the father is like, if you were really afraid of me, you would have gotten a B+. Like, why are you hating on your son like that? Like, calm down. Like, I don't know. It's just a bit too much. Some of that energy, some of the villainous energy was perhaps wasted on the wrong person, which made me feel like you're just creating a universe in which people are just rude and mean to each other for no narrative reason, but just to say, he's a rude person, she's a rude person. If you want to kill people and then advance the plot in that way, I'm with you. But just the rudeness, I'm like, why are they all so mean to to each other? Can we all just get along? And not they have to be nice, but like, I don't know.
Can we all just not human sacrifice?
Right. Well, no, but I'm okay with that part. I'm just not okay with the interpersonal not niceness.
I will say, I have to say, this was one of my favorite Marvel shows. I feel like when Marvel, I mean, they have their film franchise, which is huge. Love Thor Ragnarok. I love a lot of the Avengers. But the TV versions of the Marvel shows have been really just all over the place. I love Jessica Jones. I really like Luke Cage. But Iron Fist was unwatchable. And granted, those were for Netflix. But this is a TV show in the Marvel Universe that felt different and that I liked.
Are you binging this?
I am binging this.
I am not. Tell me why I should keep going based on what I saw, which was like, it's high school, they have some money, they're rude to each other, their parents are super sketchy and weird.
It's like the superpower version of like parents. They just don't understand.
So if Gossip Girl, if the parents had weird superpowers and they were in the Illuminati and then they were rude to each other.
Yes, red robes. Red robes, also like good real estate.
I need more good art in the walls. I'm not binging this. I'm done.
Okay.
I'm out. I've seen enough.
I'm binging this. I love anything that marries superpowers, a little like Heathers, and a little Gossip Girl.
If only it had what was great about Heathers and Gossip Girl in their interactions of the rich high school teenagers, because those shows, well, Heather's a movie, obviously, but those entities, the interactions were so great, the dialogue was so great, you know?
Yeah.
And this is not that.
It's not perfect, but it engaged me enough that the part that concerns me the most is that it's going to be 13 episodes. And I think that's been Marvel's downfall with their Netflix shows. And I just wish, I really like the first 4 that I watched. And I wish they would cut it down to 10.
If the length of the season is the problem, then perhaps we should not have started this journey at all.
Sacrifice them. The miniseries Godless stars Jeff Daniels as an old Western outlaw hunting down his former protege who is crashing on Michelle Dockery's land. You can stream the drama now on Netflix.
To love, to hope, to dream, to be, to lose. For your life has lived in me. To remember this brings painful joy. It is a human thing.
Of course, Michelle Dockery is one of the many widows or single women living in this town in New Mexico because there are basically no men anywhere. There's a huge mining accident and the women step up and they basically are running everything. And
Your kind of place.
Yeah, I know, exactly. I'm like, this is my dream. I love this. I love this. I don't normally love Westerns. Like, it's not, everyone has their different tastes and their, whatever. But, so I'm not necessarily a Western person.
Right.
But I liked this show. I didn't love it.
Right.
I liked it. There were moments and characters that I was really intrigued by. I thought Michelle Dockery's character was interesting. You know that like she was married to someone. She is a kid. And now she's raising this child. Now she's got this outlaw living on her land and she's like clearly into him. And I loved especially Merritt Weaver's character, who's like this, this lesbian in, this Western living in New Mexico, and she's hooking up with this former prostitute. And she also was married, and her husband died in this mining accident. Her character was, I wanted to watch a whole season about that character. The stuff that took me out of it was how grand the show thought it was.
Oh no,
These
I like that.
Sweeping shots.
Oh no,
Let's spend 5 minutes watching horses run through water because it's so beautiful and artsy.
Yes, please. Yes. No, I mean, it was a beautiful show. I mean, there's moments where they just let the cinematographer go nuts and put on special lenses and I mean, like even this great moment when they discover someone's been hung, but they use this like 10-second pan, they're pulling back, and you see them like horrified, like, oh, and what are they? And then they finally, this man has been hung, and it looks horrifying. And I mean, this show is so beautiful.
Indulgent.
Well, I mean,
you say beautiful, I say indulgent.
No, I like this. I mean, Jeff Daniels is one of the great villains of modern
he's so
TV.
good.
He's so great. I mean, like at one moment, he's on his beautiful horse, and he rides into the little wooden chapel, and they're all like, oh my God, there he is. And he's telling them, like, look, if you want me to come back and burn this town down, that's no problem. I can do that. Like, I'm
Yes,
like,
if you hide this guy, I'm coming after you.
Yes,
Yeah.
I love him. I'm afraid of him. I'm afraid for them. And it's, you know, he's just like this perfect, immovable object coming right at this, you know, all-female town. So I love that clash. I love the toughness of the women. I mean, you know, usually I don't clue in too much on the intro. I don't think I've ever spoken about the intro on this show. But there's this great shot in the intro of this woman with a gun with this great long skirt like ballooning out as she's firing. And it just gets me super excited about, like, there's gonna be women being Old West tough on this show and defending themselves. And I love that. I love that whole setup. I'm super interested in this world and the beauty of it.
Yeah, I mean, I like that too, and I like that it's this slightly different take on a Western. And I do think Jeff Daniels is really good, but there were just certain, he gets these monologues, and Scott Frank, the creator of the show and the writer.
Killing the monologues. It's Jeff Daniels.
He is. I just feel like dial it back a little bit. Like, you can tell the director is like, oh, yes, more, give me more, give me more. And he's like, okay, I'll give you more. And it's all great, but you sometimes just feel like, just for the sake of the story, for the sake of the episode length, for the sake of the fact that this episode is 1 hour and 15 minutes already, cut 40 seconds out of your speech.
I'm not normally a Jeff Daniels fan. I watched Newsroom dutifully because I was working in that world at that time, and we would come into the office and be like, the show's so unrealistic, it's so maddening, it's so like, what the hell? And I really hated the way Jeff Daniels made the Lawrence O'Donnell, Bill O'Reilly sort of character look. And I knew those sort of guys, Dylan Radigan, you know, who talked to them on, I'm like, no, that is not like real, accurate, and no. But, so I'm not normally a Jeff Daniels fan, so to have him flow just down so easily for me in this. Not a Western fan, not a Jeff Daniels fan, and to see him just blow me away in this way, I'm like, yes, I like this. I want to give it a shot. I want to keep rolling with it because I like Jeff as this evil villain. I like this town full of women who are badass and standing up for themselves.
Yes.
I like the beauty of this world. I'm totally going to binge this because this is a beautiful show.
It is a beautiful show.
And not so pretty that it's just for the girls, right? It's just for the women, right? I mean, like, everybody will appreciate this whole sort of universe.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm binging this show because I want to see what happens with Merritt Weaver's character.
Yeah.
I just wish there wasn't so much patting on the back of, you know, the director and the writer, and let's show every single beautiful image we've ever shot. Don't worry about it. Like, someone's glued to their TV.
Doesn't like beauty, but I do.
I just don't like horses running through like streams for like 15 minutes.
But it's beautiful.
I know, but like I can do like splash, 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 move on to the next scene.
Why do you hate beauty?
Splash, 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 cut.
Why do you hate horses? Coming up, we'll discuss the new show, There's Johnny.
And we'll tell you the best shows to binge watch over Thanksgiving after you're done binge eating.
Oh, I see what you did there.
I was like, binge eating.
Welcome back, I'm Touré.
I'm Jessica Shaw.
And this is still BingeWorthy, telling you what to binge.
And what to delete.
There's Johnny takes us behind the scenes of Johnny Carson's Tonight Show through the eyes of a wide-eyed naif from Nebraska who nices his way to a job on the show, where we see the world of the Carson Show through his eyes. It's all as sweet as raw saccharin. And streaming now on Hulu.
Johnny was always such a big part of our life. I watched him with my family.
Don't get too excited, but word is we're gonna find you a job here.
I take this to Mr. Carson's house?
If you lose this, America has no jokes tonight.
You work at the Tonight Show. What do you do there, exactly?
I don't know, actually.
Yeah, this was like raw candy. It's just so sweet and nothing is the matter. And golly gosh, gee, Johnny, you're the best. I mean, like, is it produced by Disney? Is there nothing wrong in this world? I mean, and I had visions of Good Girls Revolt.
Right.
And I kept thinking like somebody, because somehow like the time frame and things kept reminding me of that. And I'm like, somebody's gonna stand up and say, this world is screwed up. But like, no, everything is fine.
No, yeah.
Everything's fine.
I have to say, even worse than not saying anything about that world and just certainly gender dynamics. They hint at them and they allude to them. There's a woman producer and it's like, oh, did she just get a job because her dad's famous, whatever. The show is so boring.
Oh my God.
It was, I was watching and I was like, surely this can't be what some executive at Hulu decided to greenlight. Like this cannot, was someone like, oh yeah, this is great. This kid from Nebraska, from Johnny's hometown, who gets what he thinks is a personal letter from Johnny Carson asking him to come work on the show. And so he goes to, to Hollywood and to get his big break. I found him so not compelling on any level. I thought the performance was flat. I thought the dialogue was just pathetic.
He shows up at 11 p.m. And surely there are many people who don't know anything about entertainment and would think, oh, I want to see the Carson show, I'll show up at 11 p.m. But the conversation he has with the night watchman is so boring and pointless. I'm like, why are we here? Why am I forced to listen to all this? Or when he finally makes it to the office and someone's like, ooh, I want to keep him as a pet. Can he just follow me around for the day? And I'm like, what? No.
But like you can even see that there is a world where maybe that's interesting. It's like this classic fish out of water story. Like the kid from Nebraska, he goes to Hollywood and all this. He's young, he's thrown into this world, Hollywood, whatever. They capitalize on nothing.
Yeah, I'm super deleting this show. I hated it. It's boring. It's pointless. I shouldn't have existed. I should use the Sunshine of the Spotless Mind device so I never think of it again.
Delete.
Bye. Here.
Done. And now, since Turkey Day is right around the corner, we're going to give you our picks for the best show to binge over Thanksgiving break.
Well,
what do you got?
I was thinking about this. And, Thanksgiving can be lovely and wonderful, and it can also make you want to kill some people.
Yeah.
And if you get into that vibe, which many of us get into on a Thanksgiving.
BingeWorthy does not advocate murder.
No, but watching murderers could be cathartic. So Mindhunter, for those who want to maybe kill somebody in your family, look at other people who have killed and those who are trying to figure out why.
Oh, I like that. That's a really good,
such a great show. If you haven't watched it already, I highly recommend it.
Yeah, binge that whole thing in a weekend.
Yes, one of the best shows
liked
of the season.
I think the show I would binge is The Crown Season 1. Season 2.
You again with The Crown?
Because I love
It's an American holiday, lady. Where you're sending him to England, then we got away from England. That was the whole point.
I know.
Isn't that the whole point of Thanksgiving?
You're like, America, meeting my turkey, and then just go back to England.
Oh, God. We left England. Thanksgiving was the beginning of America, symbolically, and yet you're telling him to watch The Crown. That's the whole reason why we left. To get away from the crown.
I know.
Literally.
Because it's like once you've eaten all your patriotism and all of your feelings because you're with your family, sometimes you want something else. You want to go to another continent, metaphorically or literally. I loved season 1 of The Crown so much. Season 2 is starting just next month. It's right around the corner, and I feel like you can't watch season 2 without seeing season 1.
Well,
so
you won't know what happens. Spoiler: she becomes queen. And she's still queen to this day.
Oh my God, why do you hate England?
Too small and rainy. That's it for our show. Thanks for watching.
I'm Jessica Shaw.
I'm Touré, and this has been BingeWorthy.
Cheers to turkey and reruns.
And America.
Tryptophan.